common colds with asthma, that's number one worldwide. A distant number two, no, a close number two is number two, diarrhea.
For pediatrician Dr. Cecilio Eck, one of the most common illnesses he sees in the hospital and clinic is diarrhea. He advises parents to pay attention to the other symptoms that occur along with the diarrhea. If the child has no symptoms, then it's most likely non-infectious. In the other case, the symptoms can vary.
With that one, you'd look to see if the child has fever. I would ask if there's vomiting and how many episodes. I would ask to see if there are any signs of dehydration. And those signs would include dry lip, no tears, no urine. If the child is very out of it, very lethargic, those would be an indication to reach the nearest hospital to get an IV up for fluids, or to try as well prior to that to give oral rehydration fluid. The other signs would be, depending on the germ that is causing it in the infectious type, joint pains, cramping belly pain, sometimes even blood in the stool. And in all infectious diarrhea categories, in most cases, we do have somebody who was the contact, somebody at home or at school or at the daycare who was sick. With very tiny babies, if they get exposed, I usually separate the categories into 3 by age groups. Less than 2 are the ones who do very poorly. Between 2 to 10, they do better. They have the vomiting, the diarrhea, but they could recover. Me and you, kids above age 10, would have the belly pain, the diarrhea, but our bodies recover very quickly. In the younger age group, less than 6 months, is very alarming because these guys deteriorate very quickly.
Dehydration is the most worrisome complication of diarrhea.
It's one of the reasons why a baby's mole would drop. So people in Belize think that the mole would fall independently. But I tell parents that boggy area on top of the skull is a direct sign of hydration. It would fall not independently, but only if the baby has severe vomiting, diarrhea, fever, is not eating appropriately. When it starts to dip a little bit, that's an indication to reach the hospital to be seen. With dehydration, if there is decreased blood flow to any organ in your body, you have complications associated with it. So if there is decreased blood flow to the kidney, it can cause kidney damage. To the gut, you could have problems with the gut, with digestion, but the major one is when there is decreased blood in your system, you're going to shock. So dehydration causes shock, a decrease in your blood pressure, a decrease in your heart rate, and can lead literally to death very quickly in young kids.
Staying hydrated is paramount, but choose wisely the fluids you administer.
What we normally use in Belize, Caribbean, Central America are things that do not work and actually make it worse. Anything that is sweet, so that's a huge category.
No hot Coke.
No hot Coke, hot Sprite, lime juice, black tea, juices, fruit juices, Gatorade. Anything sweet will make the diarrhea 100 times worse. And the reason it happens is that once the gut is damaged, the gut cannot absorb glucose or sugar. Once you take anything sweet within the walls of the gut, it can't be absorbed, and so that sugar then pulls fluid from your body into the gut, and the diarrhea becomes profuse. The things you can use now, I say God's answer to this is coconut water. It provides enough, a small amount of glucose, a lot of potassium, a little bit of sodium, a small amount of glucose, and of course the water. Small amounts at a time usually does work. You can as well use from the pharmacy the oral rehydration fluid. It comes in as the people call it, salt. It comes as a preformed mixture of everything I just mentioned, the sodium, potassium, small amount of glucose, in a specified amount of water, like a gallon or a pint. You mix it up, you cool it up, you give it to the kid, and it tastes good. Third one would be Pedialyte. And I tell parents with some kids who don't like the Pedialyte, they can mix it maybe half to half with the Gatorade. The other thing you can do for them to take it is to put it in the freezer and turn it into slush. And kids like ice, so you give them small amounts.
In addition to the avoidance of sugar, Dr. Eck explains how to get children to keep fluids down, especially when they're experiencing vomiting.
What not to give, what to give but how to give it. A lot of people don't understand that if a kid has bad gastroenteritis, a bad infection of the gut, causing you to vomit and have loose stool, they'll be thirsty. They will want to drink, but if they drink a lot of even the good things, it will come back up. So I advise the parents to get your little medicine cup, and you would give 5 to 10 mLs, right about there. You watch your clock, 10 minutes would pass, 5, 10 mLs again. Watch your clock again, and you do that small amounts at a time, and they do tolerate it. After about an hour of that, then you can go up to maybe an ounce at a time. And when they start to tolerate, you gradually work in what the Americans call the brat diet. Bananas, rice, applesauce, toasted bread. In Belize, I say toast, oats, Ritz crackers, soda biscuit, toasted bread, noodles, simple soups, nothing too heavy, nothing too complex.
While there's little that can be done to entirely prevent diarrhea, you can minimize your risks by practicing good hygiene.